Shalom, I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakodash, and Shani Kabad, Gadawala Rakwab, Zaquanyam Nawat, Washalayakim Nawat. That's double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom, Wabarakim, Labakaram Shayasharala, and that's peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. And as always, to the confusion of faces, meaning those who look like the other nations, but whose spirits resonate with the truth, and I believe and have faith in Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, and Yahushai, the only begotten Son. So to all you brothers out there, no matter how you look, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, I want to say peace and blessings to you all. So as you can see, this is from the New York Times, and it says, "Are you ready for the financial crisis of 2019?" So this article is basically going into 5 different scenarios that, based on this past year of 2018, because we're almost done with it, based on 2018, and not just looking at it from a economic standpoint in America, but also from a macroeconomic level, or global, if you will. This article is looking at 5 different scenarios that could lead to a financial crisis right around the corner in 2019. And this is very important because, of course, we had the economic crisis in 1929, and then you have 2008, and then all of a sudden now they're talking about something happening in 2019. Whether it happens in 2019 or if it happens sometime later on down the line, this is important to know because we're coming into a time in which only the spiritual person is going to survive. And what makes this crash so much different than the 1920s or 2008 is the fact that other prophecies are happening at the same exact time. As an example, the mark of the beast, which, if you don't know by now, is the microchip, is in full effect, and it's going to be made mandatory very, very soon. How do we know that? Because so many societies around the globe are starting to develop what's called a cashless society. They're getting away from actually using cash. And all that's going to do is lead into forcing the microchip on people. The scriptures talk about how no man is able to buy or sell except that you have that mark. And which that mark, once again, is the microchip. Also, you have what? You have World War III brewing. You have all these countries meeting up over there in the Middle East, according to the book of Joel. What is that? The 3rd chapter, I believe. Right? And you have all these smaller nations such as Afghanistan, Iraq. All of a sudden, they're taking their money from agriculture and they're shifting it towards their military. Why are they doing that? Because the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. And he's doing, or rather, they are doing according to the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It's all for prophecy's sake. So that's why this next economic collapse, which is prophesied in the Bible, and we're going to get a few scriptures on that, Lord's will. That's why this next economic collapse is so important. So it says, "Are you ready for the financial crisis of 2019?" We're going to jump down, skipping these first 2 paragraphs. Actually, let me see. All over again after a decade, $1 trillion, 12.4 Seasons Hotel. All right, it's all good. I skimmed through this before. I'm going to start right here. It says, "Will it last? Who knows? But in recent months, the anxiety that we could be in for a replay of 1929 or 1987 or 2000 or 2008 has become palpable." The word palpable just means easily, what did it say? Easily perceived. There we go. So it says it has become palpable, not just for the Aspen set, but for any American with a 401k. Overall, and now watch this pattern of history because there's nothing new under the sun. So listen to this. It says, overall, stocks are down 1.5% this year after hitting dizzying heights in early October. And what goes up must come down. Hedge funds are having their worst year since the 2008 crisis. And household debt, recently hit another record high of $13.5 trillion, up $837 billion from the previous peak, which preceded the Great Recession. So same exact scenario. It says, after a decade of low interest rates that fueled a massive run-up in stocks, real estate, and other assets, financial Cassandras are not hard to find. Paul Tudor Jones, the billionaire investor, recently, I guess that's posited that we are likely in a global debt bubble. And Jim Rogers, who's another billionaire, the influential fund manager and commentator, has forewarned of a crash that will be, and quote, the biggest in his lifetime. And he's 76 years old, so he's seen it all. And Jim Rogers is somebody that I used to follow. Oh no, Salak, I'm thinking about somebody else. But either way, somebody that I definitely follow now because he has lots of knowledge in terms of microeconomics, macroeconomics, and really wants to get on a global standpoint. And he truly can break down the stock market if that's something that's new to you. And he can let you know about what bubbles are, what they mean, what's going on with debt, the debt crisis, and why it's apparent, tariffs, so on and so forth. If that's not your true cup of tea, he can break that down for you in an easy manner. And he's not prophesying, he's warning. It says he's forewarned of a crash that's going to be the biggest in his lifetime. You see? So we're going to jump down here. As you can see right here, this is number 1. This is one of the 5 ways that the author of this article is saying could lead to a financial crisis in 2019. The first, or 5th, I should say, is student debt. Okay. The 4th, it says it's China. And of course, I'm sure it's going into the trade war with China. All right. The end of easy money. All right. Of course, you can read that if you want to. Let's go. Oh, Itala exit. All right, that's funny. All right, let's see. An anti-billionaire uprising across America. It could happen, just saying. Okay, but either way, when you actually look at Jim Rogers and all these other economists, that's a proper word, all of them agree on one thing, and it's basically just the debt that America has accrued throughout the years. We're in a huge debt crisis, and that's the reason why they're saying it's a debt bubble that's going to burst and it's going to pop. And once the economy crashes, what's going to be brought forth for this so-called New World Order? It's going to be the microchip. That microchip is going to actually have your entire existence, your whole entire identity in that one chip. Your name, your age, your date of birth. It's going to have your type of blood. It's going to have your health records on there. Your whole existence is going to be on that chip. And let me not forget, it's going to have your money on there. Your so-called money. It's going to have a so-called currency on that chip too. That chip is going to allow you to still be on Esau's grid. And that's truly what Esau wants to do. That's his New World Order. That's him doing his best to fulfill his birthright. All right, that's the order out of chaos that Esau wants to bring about. And I'm not going to read through this article, at least not too much of it. But hold on, let me see something really quickly. When was this article written? Because it was only a few days ago. December 10th, 2 days ago. All right, and this one right here.
Hi.
Oops. Okay, here we go. Fortune.com. Janet Yellen warns another financial crisis could be brewing. December 11th. This was just yesterday. I'm only going to read this first paragraph, and that's it. If you want to keep reading it, this is the title of it, and you can definitely look it up for yourself if you want to dive deeper in it. The first paragraph says, Janet Yellen, former chairman of the Federal Reserve, is sounding a warning bell about another financial crisis in the making, saying the loss of authority by banking regulators and the move toward deregulation are worrisome. So there you have it. The former chairman of the Federal Reserve, a disgusting-looking Edomite. There you have it. Is also letting you know, forewarning you of another financial crisis. And now through the Spirit, what I want to do, through the Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, is let you know about the same exact thing in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1. Remember now thy Creator. Who's the Creator? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. In the days of thy youth, right now, while the evil days come not. What's the evil days? Is economic collapse. Nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun, or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. What are the grinders? The grinders represent work. Matter of fact, let me finish it out. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. I've actually never looked up that word grinders. Let's get into it. The word grinders, let me see, tachan. All right, you have the word tachan. What does it say? To grind or crush. All right, let me see. A primitive root, to grind meal, hence to be a concubine. That being their employment. A grinder, hey, someone who works, a grinder. To crush small with this, okay, especially to grind in a hand mill. There you go. Someone that's working. So in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. No one's going to be working during a financial crisis, during an economic collapse. Jobs are going to be failing. You already see right now, you have all these brick and mortar stores filing for bankruptcy. I mean, Walmart is closing down stores right now. Even Starbucks is closing down stores. Your JCPenney's, your Sears, all closing down stores. That's because the grinders are ceasing, because there isn't work left. The economy is crippling. It's falling right now. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. The daughters of music shall be brought low is just a metaphor representing there's no more mirth, there's no more joy in the streets anymore. That's what music represents, a joyful time, happiness, mirth. But all that's going to be flipped upside down. You see everybody that's not taking heed to this word right now, and more importantly, that's not taking heed to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, they're going to be caught loose, because only the spiritual person is going to be able to survive this next financial crisis. Because it's going to take the Spirit of the Lord upon you. You have to have that hedge around you to protect you in these times. The scriptures talk about how there's going to be famine. There's going to be a famine in the streets. The scriptures also prophesy about martial law. Matter of fact, let me get that really quickly, and then we'll probably get out of here on that note. Okay, because that also goes into the next financial crisis. The financial crisis is synonymous with martial law. So this is 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. I'm going to start reading at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." The word woe just means death or destruction. And it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein," meaning all the inhabitants of the world. "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people," this is an end time prophecy, keep that in mind, "and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." What's the modern day sword? It's a gun. "For there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes," meaning their government, their senators, their police, right? "They shall not regard them, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. When you have a man that has a wife and kids, and there's famine, there's no food, there's lack of bread, scarcity of food and water, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to grab a weapon, and he's going to go out here in the streets, and he's going to get busy. He's going to do what he has to do in order to protect his family. And unless you have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai protecting you through the holy angels, you're not going to be able to survive this upcoming financial crisis. Verse 17 says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. What does that mean? That's referring to martial law, because during martial law, you have something called cities being quarantined. And when cities are quarantined, you're not allowed to leave your city. So verse 17 again, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, with their guns, and spoil or steal their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. This is the times that we're heading into. You see it. I brought it out in the Bible. You see Jim Rogers and the former, a chairman, something like that, of the, let me get it right since I said it. Janet Yellen, the former chairwoman, probably is a man, of the Federal Reserve. Everybody, all these economists are also talking about some kind of financial crisis. And we need to be warned about that because, of course, we should be conducting ourselves accordingly, seeing that all these things shall come to pass. What manner of persons ought ye to be? The scriptures say in all holy conversation, meaning in all holy conduct, conducting yourselves accordingly, staying in the word, reading, praying, fasting, and continuing to offer your body as a living sacrifice, having faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, staying spiritual every single day, praying that the Lord keeps his Holy Spirit upon you and that he doesn't take it away from you, praying for protection. These are all the things that we should be doing. This is how our mentality should be in these times. We shouldn't be walking around fulfilling the lust of the flesh. We shouldn't be getting weaker. We should be trimming off the flesh in these times. More spirit, less flesh. All right. How do you say that in the Hebrew? It was Racha Rab, Bashar Ma'ait. More spirit, less flesh. Racha Rab Bashar Ma'ait. Say that throughout the day just because it keeps you in the spirit. It keeps you thinking 24/7. That's what I like to do at the very least. So no need to drag it out anymore. A financial crisis is coming, whether it happens in 2019 or after. Either way, it's coming. Call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakudash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well over the flock. And peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.